In a recent video, I drew your attention to the possibility that dogs and other household pets could be vectors for the transmission of COVID-19. The article I referred you to concluded that it was an area of uncertainty and more work has to be done. The Center for Disease Research, the CDC, recognizes both that transmission between pets and humans is possible and that more research needs to be done in this area. They have concluded that the risk of being infected from your dog or cat is low. The Scientific Advisory Group for Emergencies, or SAGE, a group that advises the UK government, recently looked into the possibility of catching COVID-19 from pets and concluded that the pet was more vulnerable to infection from humans than the other way around. They concluded that, quote, until more information is available on the likely infection status of a companion animal in contact with an infected SARS-CoV-2 patient, we consider the likelihood of exposure to be at most medium, with a high level of uncertainty, end quote. The position of the Kennel Club is that there is no evidence that dogs can transmit COVID-19 to humans. They do, however, recommend that you wash your hands after touching dogs, and that you should practice good general hygiene. This is a responsible stance to take. By saying that there is no evidence, the Kennel Club recognizes that there is more work to be done before we can be certain. They suggest simple hygiene precautions in the meantime. Everything points to uncertainty at this time, and there is recognition that more work needs to be done. It would seem to be a reasonable precaution, therefore, to either reduce the number of pets in human society or reduce our contact with them until we have more safety information. That is the opposite of what is happening. During the pandemic, there has been a rush to increase the production of dogs, particularly the more expensive types. And there has been a rush for people to buy dogs from shelters. A recent article in the Financial Times and a similar article in The Economist looked at how UK demand for dogs has outstripped supply during the lockdown period. Prices for popular types of dogs have doubled, and waiting lists for dogs have increased by 4 times. Some unscrupulous breeders and dealers are supplying sick and underage dogs to people who believe that a dog is a necessary element of their pandemic existence. I will put all the links to these articles in the description for you to read. Some animal charities have expressed concern about this trend to buy a dog without thinking of the long-term consequences. It has led many of them to rewrite the old advertising slogan of "A dog is for life, not just for Christmas." The new slogan is "A dog is for life, not just for lockdown." The problem of the "dog is for life" slogan is that it is dog-centered, but it can be interpreted another way. When someone irresponsibly buys a dog, they are condemning their neighbors and society at large to years of barking, biting, dog intrusion, and everything else that dogs bring. If your neighbor buys a dog, then you have to put up with it for the rest of its destructive and noisy life, and you will never have been consulted on the matter. There is a similarly increased demand for dogs in other countries. In Canada, there has not only been an increase in the purchase of dogs by whatever means, there has also been an increase in the presence of dogs on TV. One article reports, quote, "We have seen dogs interrupting live weather forecasts, being the subjects of sports commentary, competing in dog park elections, congratulations President Tuna, and delivering inspirational video messages for the two-leggeds." In one popular pandemic gag, people described their pets as though they were co-workers, as in, "My coworker is giving himself a bath on top of my TPS reports," or "My coworker just peed under my desk." Dog shelters across the United States are having to deal with an increased demand in people wanting to buy dogs from them. This story from New York City reports on the increasing demand to do something that they choose to call fostering. U.S. News reports on a similar situation in Atlanta. This concept of fostering irritates me. People who foster children provide children with the opportunity to develop emotionally, socially, and culturally, reach their full potential, and contribute something to society. Some may not, but most will. The use of the word fostering to indicate what is essentially a loan of a dog for an undetermined time is part of the linguistic fog that dog worshippers spread to divert and confuse us. If we accept that word, we accept that dogs are like humans and have a right to be in human society. They are not like humans, and they do not have a right to be in human society. When you borrow a dog, that dog will never be anything other than a dog. It will wake up, perform a variety of biological functions, and then go back to sleep. It will repeat that process until it dies. The glass ceiling for dogs is set very low, and no dog has crashed through it to become more than a dog. It seems that in quarantine, people can't get enough of dogs. It is contrary to any sense. We don't know if dogs can transmit the virus, so it would be prudent to act as if they could until we know otherwise. What we do know about dogs is that they can transmit a wide range of zoonotic diseases and parasites to humans. Surely, it would make sense to minimize any further compromise to our immune systems in a time of infection. Wanting a dog at such times has nothing to do with animal welfare or love for dogs. The dog is a commodity and is bought for the benefit of the purchaser. Buying a $20,000 dog carries a similar cachet to buying a $100,000 car. It shows that you have money to spare. The $20,000 does not benefit the dog in any way. The expensive dog is likely to be inbred and physically and genetically weak. Buying a dog during a pandemic is a selfish and stupid indulgence. Most of the articles about the increased purchasing of dogs during the pandemic tend to romanticize and fantasize the presence of these animals in the buyer's home. They claim that the dogs bring companionship, friendship, love, comfort, and reassurance. They claim that dogs help to ward off or alleviate loneliness and boredom. Dogs do none of these things, and I have discussed this in previous videos. A dog can wake up, carry out its biological functions, and then go to sleep. That's about it. That is all it is ever going to offer. If you believe otherwise, then you are projecting your wishes and desires onto an animal that is totally inadequate to the task. Believing that a dog can ease your loneliness or social despair is not just wishful thinking, it's magical thinking. A dog is not your friend. A dog does not love you. A dog does not understand your angst, bewilderment, or fear during a difficult time. It understands nothing of the human condition. Imagine waking in the morning to the smell and sounds of dog and realizing that this is my companion, this is my friend, this is how low I have sunk, this is the basement of despair. We have the good fortune to live in a technologically advanced era in which it is possible to communicate with people across the world almost instantaneously. We can keep in touch with friends and relatives by a variety of means, and we have the ability to use technology to nurture old friendships and make new ones. The amount of entertainment and diversion available to us seems limitless. So why are people so invested in dogs in an attempt to give their lives meaning? It is not rational. A dog is not more entertaining or fulfilling than all the other possibilities open to us. Dogs limit your life, they do not expand it. The solution to your problems is U-shaped. It is not dog-shaped. The future is dog-free.